Are you one of those people that never ever finishes a notebook? Well, that's what I'm going to talk about today. Hi, my name is Melissa. I love everything that is about writing and reading. I have been doing it since I was a knee-high to a grasshopper and have enjoyed every single part of the process, except for not finishing the notebook. You see, like I said, I have been writing into notebooks since primary school. Love it. And I would feel the excitement of having a brand new notebook and getting into cracking it open and starting to put pen to paper or pencil to paper. And along the line somewhere, when I realized that I was coming to the end of the notebook, I would stop writing. It was usually the last 15 to 10 pages of the notebook I would stop writing, and I would go into a whole new notebook and start all over again. And I didn't realize that there was this pattern that was happening with my notebooks until, most recently when I realized I went back and I had to look through all of my old notebooks, and not one single one of them was finished at all. There were still always pages left at the end. And when I asked myself why, I realized that I thought that if I completely finished a notebook, that it would have no further use for me, that I'd never pick it up again, and I would never really look at it again. And I didn't want that. I wanted those notebooks to be there forever in my life, to always have some sort of purpose and use for me, and to always be of some reference back down as I go through the journey of life. Until I realized most recently that I have finally, for the very first time in my writing life, finished an entire notebook. And so these are my traveler's notebooks. I didn't actually realize that these wonderful instruments existed until I was watching a YouTube channel by Jen. I will pop her details in the description below. And she introduced me to these incredible notebooks. And if you haven't experienced them or seen them, there are plenty of YouTube videos out there that explain them, but I'm not going to go into that. Today, what I'm going to talk about is this olive green traveler's notebook. This particular notebook is my novel writing journey, planning and experience notebook, because I'm currently in the throes of writing my own novel. And it was in this traveler's notebook that I finished the very first notebook in my 53-year life. And it's actually this one here, which, as you can see, it's lovely and thick with a lot of tabs in it, and it's got all of my own writing in it, in words and hands, some pictures as well. And when I got to the very last page in this notebook, it was actually a kind of a weird experience. One, because I identified that it was the very first notebook that I completed, and two, I realized that even though this was full, this was always going to have a permanent use for me, always. I would be referring back to this notebook throughout the cycle of my writing my novel. But I would also know that I'll be referring back to it long after that, to look at my thoughts and my ideas and my planning around it, to go back and revisit some ways of doing an actual process. I use sticky notes a lot, by the way. And there was immense pride in doing that. It seems weird, maybe. And if you've always finished a notebook, it will definitely seem very weird. And maybe a little, peculiar, but I enjoyed the process of putting my thoughts and ideas onto paper. Always have. I enjoy the process of just literally writing on beautiful paper, which, by the way, these notebooks, these traveler's notebooks, they are a beautiful paper to write on. And particularly for fountain pens, because I am a fountain pen lover. And I realized that notebooks do have a life cycle all their own. That even though this might be completed and finished, it's not the end of it. That it is actually going to be a legacy of my work. It's going to be a reference back to of my ideas and thinking. And yeah, I found it, I thought I would find it sad. I thought I would find it odd. And I thought I would find it, yeah, I thought I'd be pulling it out and finding it very strange to finally finish one, but I don't. I don't regret it either. Because, like I said, I'm also a stationery lover, so that means now that I have to go and purchase another book. In saying that, but yeah. So if you think that, I don't know, if you're a bit like me and you're kind of scared or fearful of finishing a notebook because you think you're never going to pick it up again or find another use for it again or refer back to it, you might find that once you do finish it, you might change your mind about that. And you might instead find it as a very great resource tool written in your own hand that you can be proud of. Yeah. Anyway, that's my thoughts for today. If you would like to have a really good sticky beak inside this particular notebook, or my everyday one, my black one, on particular spreads and whatnot, and ideas and thinking, sure, just drop a comment below and I'll be happy to share. Not all of it, of course, because it's still in process, but I will be happy to share some of the look inside of it, this or my everyday. And yeah, hope to see you come back again soon. Thanks for watching.